welcome to another edition of A Little Perspective. This is the Little Ladies edition. Today, I'm super excited to have two of my very good friends and also contributing authors on the show. Kristina and Samantha are both authors in the upcoming book, A Little Perspective, Real Stories of Little Ladies. It will be a collection of stories, chapters, from various women with dwarfism and different types of dwarfism, just reflecting on some things that have gone on in their lives that are specific to their dwarfism. So today we get to talk a little bit to them, see what they are like, and talk a little bit about their chapters. So Samantha, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Hansen. I am 34 years old. I am a preschool teacher. I teach 3 and 4-year-olds, and I'm a cheer coach. I've been a cheer coach except for obviously the last season with the COVID and everything, but I was a cheer coach for 8 years so far to date, doing 5th through 8th grade cheerleading. And I also worked in the service industry as a waitress and a manager. I did a little bit of bartending at the place too. I really just, I'm loud, I'm crazy sometimes, very sarcastic. But otherwise I just love chilling, like with after school. My thing is just hanging out, catching up on shows, relaxing, doing all that.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kristina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend?
I am 39 years old. My name is Kristina Hiller. I live in Connecticut. Let's see, there's one guy right there. I'm a cat mom and I am a dog mom. I'm not actually able to work right now due to some health issues. So I've been spending a lot of time writing, journaling, doing a lot of reading, and I just like doing things that everybody else does. I just might go about them differently than average sized folks, and that's just fine. Like Sam, I'm sarcastic and I'm loud, and gals know that as well. It's a good quality, I think.
Heck yeah.
I'm super excited to be a part of this project. So I've made lots of great friends, and it's just a wonderful experience.
I'm pretty sure you said you were dirty 9, and I feel like that's not untrue.
Did I? Well, yeah, that
The dirty 9, dude. I'm using that for oh my gosh, here we go. 4 more years. I'll be 35 in August. Come dirty 9. I'm doing it.
Oh man. Okay, so Samantha,
Yes.
You were one of the first authors to sign on. You were very eager and excited. So tell me a little bit about, the decision process to join on and how you felt about that.
All right. So, yes, when you approached me, like unbeknownst to you, that I had started pursuing and pushing some of my personal goals, switching them around for that 10-year plan, putting some in the front that weren't before. And one of those was to write a book and become a published author. That was always on my goal list for 10 years. And so I started taking publishing courses to really good writers that I just adore and I love their stories. They offered free publishing classes. So I did 2 of those. And I started kind of like just getting an idea of maybe like what would it look like if I did write a book and what would it be about and everything. And all of a sudden, one day I get this message from this beautiful woman named Angela, and she's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this project. Is that something that you'd be interested in? Little did she know, I was like, yeah. I'm like, this is like my dream come true, legit. So yeah, it's funny because I was never ever thinking about going in the fact of it being about my dwarfism ever. Like that was not my original plan at all. But honestly, like I feel like this was the best actually first and everything out there form, because like you'll hear in all these other interviews, what a ride for us literally to do and go through this process. We all went through things on our own journeys in writing this book, this chapter. Like We found ourselves in things. We found things that we didn't even realize we were pushing down in our lives, until you have to be vulnerable and expose yourself in writing these chapters, that you come to find out, wow, this is why some things are like this. This is why I'm like this. This is what really did cause this to happen, good or bad, for my future, because of how I handled things or whatever. So yeah, so throughout my writing process, it was quite, to me, like almost life changing, because again, like I told Angela and I've told the girls in our group chat, like, man, it's not only like a journal, but it's just like literally finding yourself. And the fact that not only do we get to go through that for ourselves, which that would be good enough as it is, like leave it at that, but the fact that we get to now share it with everyone, and hopefully, because we are such a diverse, beautiful group of women, I really do believe that each of our stories are going to be able to hit people in different ways, so that I'm pretty sure like we're going to cover everything.
Yeah.
We all have such different stories that I feel like there's going to be something for everyone in this book within the little community. And not even just that, but like with women in general, an empowering thing, like of taking your life back and doing things that you wanted to do and everything in between. So yes, to circle back, when she asked me to be a part of this, there was pretty much, honestly, I think I told her yes within like not even a day.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's
yep.
pretty immediate.
So yes, so thank you again. I'm so excited to be part of this.
No, I'm really excited, and there is a lot of diversity and a lot of stories to tell, and so it's exciting because, like you said, it's more than just for other LPs. Like it's for the world, and it will be impactful. Kristina, tell me a little bit about your reaction and thought process when I reached out to you and asked you to be a part of this project.
I was so excited, and like at first I didn't think she really just asked me that, because I've always written. I've always had something going, like journaling has always really been a big thing for me. And I actually started writing a book years ago, but I never knew where to go with it, after all that work that I put into it. So when Ange asked me, I don't even think I hesitated at all. I think I was just like, yeah, I 100% want to be a part of this project. I've never heard of anything like this before. The group of gals that are all contributing to this book they're all so wonderful, and I feel like we all have a lot of things in common, but like our stories are so, like Sam, you had said, so different, but we can all relate to each other, and that's so incredible. And we definitely like have a bond between all of us now, and that's like something that is so special aside from the book itself. And so there was no hesitation on my part with accepting this wonderful opportunity. And I'm like, heck yeah, I want to be a part of this. What do I have to do? Where do we go? What are we doing from here? What's next?
Oh,
I was just so excited to be a part of it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Sam, tell me a little bit about how you kind of honed in on what to write. The partner book to this is a parent's book, and it's specific to pregnancy to toddlerhood. And so that makes their job a little bit easier to figure out what they're going to write about. Whereas this one, we all have a lifetime of stories, honestly, that we could share.
Don't we though?
How did you figure out how to hone in on what you were going to write about?
Honestly, so it was a work in progress, because I was what like I was trying to say about journaling. When I started, I just kind of started. Like I went from a very pivotal moment from my birth, pretty much, to that kind of shaping the direction of how that specific moment changed my outlook on life, and my like just the way I was perceiving myself, whatever in between. Which then pretty much just by typing and like talking it out and writing it out and everything led me to another pivotal moment in college, that really was destructive for me, but not in like not in a destructive like, you know, rehab or anything like that, but destructive in the fact like mentally, that I didn't even see, like I didn't even realize, I didn't even notice and everything. And like, so from continuing to rewrite and write and rewrite, like the first couple drafts were literally, and it was just when that was only 1,500 words, that was more just like me getting it off my chest. Like it wasn't going to be good enough to be my chapter, because people are going to be like, oh my gosh, this poor woman. Like it was all dark, but I didn't mean it to be dark, but I was going through the process. So after I did that and I went backwards again, and I was like, okay, so we kind of know where we're going. So let's try this again. And I was able to take the pieces that I still wanted and then move forward through to the next moment. But then I was more able to focus on how that really did shape me for my future and present right now in the best ways possible. So it's a very motivating, I mean, it's, trust me, I promise it's not, oh my gosh, what happened? No, it's all good. It's going to be great. I mean, it is great. I love it. I'm proud of it. But yeah, so then when we got to go to 3,500 words, and like you and I discussed for forever how much of a fluffy writer I am, you tested all my abilities, girl. All of them. So yeah, so then I was able to really then give more specifics, because I kind of hopped originally just to make sure to cover those moments that I felt could also be something that somebody else went through and how I overcame and whatever. But then going back and adding more words, then I was like, okay, now I can really give this some meat.
Yeah.
Like this is also what happened, or this is why, or this is what I did, or whatever. So pretty much, yeah, it was just from kind of like writing it out and seeing where it led. Honestly, it's like I felt there was a period of time when I wasn't even in control of it. Like it was just coming. Like memories, feelings, moods, emotions, everything. And then boom, it led me to where we are with my chapter.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Kristina, do you feel like your chapter just poured out of you, or did you have a hard time trying to figure out what angle you were going to take?
I did struggle because I feel like there were different things I wanted to like talk about, but we only had like a specific amount of not time, amount of writing that we could submit. So I am a little bit of a perfectionist with my writing, and I just wanted it to be just so I wanted to make sure I got my point across. So I did a lot of brainstorming. I looked back on previous things I had written and decided I don't want to use any of that stuff. This is a new project, a new beginning, if you will. So I scrapped all that old stuff, and I'm like, I have to start fresh. I needed to just clear my head, and I think what I wanted to accomplish, I did, getting my point across, because I really feel like, and I'm sure you gals have felt this way at some point in your life, people always told me no, that I couldn't do this, that, or the other thing, that I would never be able to have any quality of life due to all my health complications. And I just always felt like when somebody says no to me, it's literally gas poured on my fire. And it makes me want to like say, F you, I'm gonna do it my way, and it's gonna get done. So I think in what I wrote about, I got that point across, that don't tell me no, because it makes me want to work harder to prove you wrong.
Absolutely.
And there were struggles along the way, obviously, because that's life for everybody, but I'm 39. I'm 39.
Yes, girl. Yes.
I opened a can of worms with that.
You did. You sure did. We're never letting this one go. Nope. Hashtag dirty 9.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Kristina, can you relate to Samantha in the way that she spoke about it being therapeutic, in a sense of just kind of releasing that and writing all that out?
Yep, I remember one afternoon I had messaged you because I was having a really hard time, like all of these things that I hadn't thought about in literally years, just rose right up and I'm sitting at the computer and I'm crying. I'm like, what is happening? And I messaged Angela. I'm like, I think there's something wrong with me. Like, I'm a mess right now. And I didn't want to say anything to the other girls because I didn't want to think that one's a pussy. Like, get her shit together. But then I ended up messaging all the other girls, like, are you guys struggling? Do I need to be like hospitalized?
Oh
Like,
my God. Not at all. No way. No way.
And you're like, it's part of the process. We're all kind of like having similar issues, like, by session. And once you start thinking about memories and things that you've been through. So I did struggle with that, but then I felt so much better after I cried it out, talked to you guys, got it out and put it into words, and I feel really happy about it now. So,
and that's like legit, honestly, one of the best things for this group, this book, this everything, but just pretty much just, I'm just going to like bring it back to the group itself, is the fact that these are situations that, again, like most people just don't get. And so for us, we don't even, honestly, like almost like we don't even have to talk about it. Like it's just an underlying automatic understanding where it's like you don't even have to say much, but we're like, yeah, we got you, like same girls, same, so I just love that we can always be honest, but at the same time you don't even have to be, because it's just you just know. But I love though the fact that we have become so close and are able to get those things off our chest and be able to ask opinions of, like, because for me, like here we have I don't have really much of a community of little people too close to me. So this is a blessing to have you all to be able to talk to you and compare and all that. So yeah.
I think we literally talk to each other. We check in at least once a day.
At least.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Samantha, your parents are average height, so you are of the 80%, because 80% of little people are born to parents that are average height, which that statistic will never not fascinate me. I think that's fascinating. Yeah. I know, but yes. So with that in mind, then, like you just mentioned, you don't have the connection with the automatic connection with LPs. Like my mom's little, my sister was little, my girls are little, like I'm surrounded by them essentially. I'm very new to LPA because of it, because I didn't have a need to like reach out and connect, and I also didn't fully grasp like what LPA was. I thought it was just meetings. I couldn't understand the community and what value they could bring to us. So do you find LPA to be that connection with other LPs?
I feel because of LPA I was able to form connections and be like, and make relationships, and like, I even mentioned something, I say something about like my own little family. And I was able to find some of my greatest friends through there. And again, it wasn't way until I was 18, 19 when I really had my first true experience. Because it just wasn't something that I knew about. That's when internet was just, Google search was just coming out.
Right.
And I was in my dorm room, and all of a sudden, boom, bam. And I talk about it in my book, like that website popped up, and like from there on out, it was like, whoa. And I attended my first little regional dinner after talking to some people, made a couple friends. Then from there, like I went to my first conference in that following summer, which was because it was in Milwaukee, but since I'm from Wisconsin, it was real close. So I was like, well, heck yeah. So I went and spent a couple nights and days there. And after that, I was like, everything changed. I was like, whoa, there really is a world that we all do live in together, because again, I was very, very minimally exposed. I definitely saw a few here and there, randomly, like in a store or if I was wherever, but in regards to somebody like a connection where I could literally call or talk or text or whatever, no, I definitely did not have that at all. Because yeah, nobody in my family's little. There's no trace back to anybody being little. It's my sisters, my nieces, my parents, my grandparents, aunts, uncles, everybody. No, it's just me.
Do you recall when you went to your first meeting and you saw other LPs? Do you recall how that made you feel? Like, because I did my first meeting in 2019, and I think that we have similar opinions on how that made us feel.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely in my book, my chapter. I definitely discussed that because it's very relevant to what I originally discussed in my chapter anyways, about my own identity, finding my own identity in this world. And yeah, put it bluntly, I was shook.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad went with me like to this dinner, which bless his heart, it was wonderful. And so even for him, he was shook too.
Yeah.
He was like, wow. I mean, he loved every minute of it. But yeah, and so for me, I just hopped out of the car and like we were all waiting in the lobby at the restaurant, and I'm just sitting here like staring, and I'm like, I'm becoming that person. Yeah. Like I'm part of this crowd, but I'm looking like from the outside in, and I'm like, am I really though part of this crowd? That don't look like me. Yeah. Like I was like, are we sure? Are we sure? And I'm not being offensive, and I'm not saying anybody looked weird or strange or bogus or anything, because they were beautiful people.
Yeah.
But it was just the fact of seeing somebody my height with the same body composition, the same, characteristics and everything, and just how they just are literally surviving in that space at that time, walking, whatever. I was definitely, I was like, whoa. Yeah. So then it kind of it didn't take me very long at all. It was probably maybe, I would say, a solid minute where I'm just like, I was in complete denial, 100% denial. I'm like, no. Yeah. Like, this will be fun, but this ain't me. This ain't me. Yeah. And then, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, but why isn't it you? Yeah. Tell me why. Tell yourself. What's so different? Nothing. Right. Nothing at all is different. You guys are all the same. Like, seriously, get your shit together. Stop.
Yeah, even though I grew up around LPs, seeing a crowd of people walking like I walk, climbing onto stools like I climb onto stools, reaching
the infamous like little people squat, dude.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize that was a thing. Because I do it all the time, like randomly when I'm chilling, and people are like, oh, you need a chair? I'm like, no, bro, I'm fine. That's
yeah.
And then all of a sudden seeing all these, while we're waiting in line and stuff, seeing these like everybody popping down doing it, I'm like, what? This is a thing? Like, this is fantastic.
You too, me too.
Me too. I mean, don't even talk about tripping. Like, that's a whole nother story.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very eye-opening for sure, and shocking, honestly, at first.
That's what I'm saying. I was shook. I was shook 100%. That's being 100% transparent.
Yeah.
For sure.
So you and I,
compared to a conference, like an actual convention. Now, when you're talking in the thousands, even then, that was like, wow.
Yeah.
We really are out here. All right.
Now, you and I have achondroplasia, which is the most common type, but Kristina has OI. So, Kristina, tell us a little bit about, what that means.
Okay, so I have osteogenesis imperfecta, which is brittle bone disease. And it's a genetic mutation that both parents have to be carriers of this recessive gene. So I don't have collagen in my bones, my connective tissue. So it affects my breathing. It affects my teeth, my skin, everything. The reason I'm on oxygen right now is because my lungs don't have the elasticity in them to expand like everybody else's. So I retain carbon dioxide. So in a way, I'm kind of like slowly poisoning myself with CO2. So whatever, it is what it is. But I break bones easily. I use an electric wheelchair, and when I was younger, I did use a little walker for a short amount of time that my dad made me, but I kept breaking my legs. So we decided no more walking for you. So I've been in the electric wheelchair ever since. I'm about maybe 3 feet tall. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but whatever. I mean, I can break a bone from like ribs from coughing, sneezing, hiccups, laughing too hard. I could roll over wrong in my sleep. I could change my clothes and try to put my shirt on and break my shoulder. You just never know. Or I could, nothing could happen. I'm not moving around and I can just spontaneously fracture. So, like, it's always an adventure here. I choose every day to be as happy as I can. I don't like being around miserable people. So why would I project that out in the universe where it's nobody's fault that I'm this hottie with a body?
Yeah, girl.
But so my dwarfism is a bit different than the kind that you gals have. And I'm still a little person. I'm just a little bit more fragile. And there's nothing wrong with my brain. I'm perfectly capable of, doing what I gotta do. Okay, there might be a few things wrong with my brain, but I've already figured that out. But yeah, that's basically what happens with OI in a nutshell. Easy to fracture, and I don't know, I can tolerate a lot of pain, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's part of the package.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, baby. You're Wonder Woman.
Oh, thanks,
it's a beautiful package. It is a beautiful package. I know that it is a lot to carry, though. And in your chapter, you talk about frustrations with the medical world. But you also talk about a connection that you make with a woman with OI. How have you been able to connect with other, because while in the dwarfism world, connecting with other people with dwarfism is obviously wonderful, but there's something particularly special to be able to connect with someone else with OI because your situation is more unique. And so to have someone who can understand that is great. So have you been able to connect with many others with OI?
I think that I can think of at least 5 other people with OI that I've met in person. And one of them was an older gentleman who was born at the same hospital that I was born at 50 years before me. So he was the first person born with OI, and 50 years later, I was born. And somehow my family was connected with his family, so I was able to meet him. And then, of course, the one that I spoke about in my chapter, I'm still in touch with her. And I haven't met, well, there's another, Lauren, who's going to be part of the book. She has OI also. I haven't met her in person yet, but I feel like I have. Because I've, talking to her for a long time, and she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. And there's been a couple other girls my age that I have met in person, and that I'm still in touch with, and that I have a great relationship with. And I'm lucky. I haven't been to an OI convention ever. When I was a child, my parents used to go to meetings, but they were not big like what they have nowadays. And it was more like maybe like 20 or 30 people. It was mostly for the parents to meet with doctors. And there wasn't like activities. It wasn't like the big weekend event that the OI conventions have now. I would love to be able to go one day, but unfortunately it's really difficult for me to travel because of all the stuff I would have to bring with me. So I'm just so grateful that I was able to connect with people through like Facebook groups, and that's how I met more people with my disability, and it's been great.
That's
amazing.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
super awesome.
Yeah, it really is. Samantha, so you are a cheer coach, and you have been a waitress and a bartender, and you are a preschool teacher. And I think that these things would probably surprise some people. So do you encounter people who are like, wait, what?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, I mean, even it's funny because, okay, so I started serving 14 years ago, 21. So I was like 20, 21-ish. And even when I brought it up to my parents like, really? Like, you're gonna like, like trays, plates, like, I mean, they were, I mean, always, my whole life, everything for it, but they were just like, you sure? And I was like, heck yeah. I was like, I'm strong. I was like, heck yeah, I got this. So I showed up, took my interview, fell in love, and it was like, yeah, the rest was history with that. But definitely, so there were definitely modifications to be had, like in the kitchen. Obviously I brought stools, and I made like my own little areas, or I would grab like my own stuff that I knew for like my tables, or like everywhere I went, there was always like, oh, Sammy's corner, oh, Sammy's corner, oh, Sammy's corner, like just piles of like stuff everywhere. But everybody knew, like, hey, that's Sam's, don't touch it. Yeah, like they lowered computers for me so I could access the computers if I needed, or they made sure there was always one that was low. That was like my go-to area. Again, like I said, Sammy's corner. But so, I mean, the working environment itself was always fantastic in the regards to serving. Regards to customer wise, no, that's a different story. I kind of had a little bit of a blend. It would either go from being nothing, just a normal, hey guys, I'm Sammy, I'll be taking care of you today, how are we doing? And go from there. No questions, no comments, no anything additional. Or I had a lot of people who just would be like super stupid. Oh, I didn't even see you coming up. And just like random stuff. And like, so people be like, oh, you're really gonna carry all that? And I'm like, bro, just watch. And he's like, oh, I hope don't make you nervous. I was like, okay, well, I don't. Or I had some people who legit, I have, and it's sad, but I did have tables who have left because I freaked them out. So, I mean, that's always there's always that little zinger. And I mean, that definitely ruins your whole vibe. Like, I could be living my best life, and like something like that. Like, you literally left because you were scared of my presence.
Oh my God. I can't imagine.
It wasn't even a, hey, can we get a new server? It was a literally, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And that's what they're saying when they're looking at me. Oh my God, no. We gotta go. And like gone, left.
What are you gonna do? That's so ridiculous.
Oh no, I mean, that's in like, gosh, I feel like there's lots of times that I've had people run up like for screaming like I'm scaring them to death. Literally, I feel like that's happened to me more times than I can count, just in general, of me literally terrifying people just by walking past them. Either they'll tell me or they won't. But anyway, so those were the really extreme. 9 times out of 10, everybody was great. And if anything, they were curious, but never made it like a huge statement. And then at the end, they'd be like, dude, you did so good. Like, we're definitely coming back. Like, for you, we're going to ask for you. I mean, now mind you, was I always perfect? Heck no. Like, nothing like that. But yeah, so it was all over the board. And then with teaching, I teach preschool, and obviously that is phenomenal. And luckily I'm still a little bit taller than them, so I maintain still got some of that authority. But at the same time, it's just, I feel like even better where it's an automatic, just they can breathe, because it's like I feel we're so equal. Like, I still nurture them, like everything like that, hold them, hug them, but it's like there's no threat. Because like, when you think of teachers, so not, and I'm not saying teachers threatening, because I am one, but like, I don't know, just when it like a big person and a little person, and then you put me with the kids, and we're like this, and it's just like like a underlying just automatic trust. And so I think it's pretty awesome. And along the way, I'm teaching them about being different. I'm showing them that people can be different and still function and still do things. And hopefully which I do talk about a little bit in my story. I'm like, hopefully that does impact as they move forward their abilities to embrace and be kind and, you know, accept diversity and spread the word, and not even just about dwarfism, about anybody, because we always cover like everything, any possibilities when we talk about it. So it's been a blessing for sure being a teacher. And then in a cheer coach, I work I co-coach, so I worked with my best friend also, which she's phenom. She's an absolute phenom cheerleader. She did a lot with cheer. I was a dancer. She was a cheerleader, and so combined we were the dream team. But the kids, like, no, I mean, they're all from my school I teach at mostly, so they know, not mostly, they know me. So it wasn't a surprise, it wasn't a shock, it wasn't a, oh wait, who's this coming in? But even the parents, as they're new and they come and become, you know, like members of the squad and whatnot, not one time really have I had any problems with like, oh, is she really gonna be able to coach you? Like, is she really gonna be able to get you to do stunts? Is she really gonna be able to do that and that and that? And no one's ever once said anything. None of the kids have come to us because, again, like I said, I have my co-coach Sarah, and she is fantastic, especially in stunting. So it's like we balanced each other. Like I always joke and say like I was the brain, she's the brawn, but like it was still an equal relationship. Like we still brought so much, both of us, to the table, physical or mental. And yeah, so it's been pretty cool. And it was really cool just to, when we went to games and whatnot, to have other schools be exposed, because same situation, I might be the only little person they come in contact with. And so not even just that, like as a bystander or a person in the audience, but the fact that they can see that I'm involved with this cheer team, they can see that, oh, wow, that's cool. You know, even if it's just a split second that they look and they're like, huh, that's cool, or good for her, or wow, that's awesome, she can do it. And then it just, even if it just shifts their mindset, like, wow, people can do anything, you know, like anything they want. So I feel like the exposure in all three scenarios to the public for me has really been, I feel, a blessing in order to do my main goal, of which is just literally to promote kindness and acceptance and love and just embrace diversity. So that's definitely helped, because now there's not many places I can go here that people don't know me based on everything I've dabbled in the community.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for sure.
Did the dumb people at the restaurant ever make you like dread going into work? Were you like, hope I don't have to deal with a bunch of dumb shit today? And
never going into work. There's always the fact of like, oh great, hope that I don't have that. But I was so surrounded by people that were my coworkers were so embracive, and my managers were so amazing. And if those scenarios, and it wasn't every day, it wasn't an automatic every day. But when they did occur, like they were also defensive for me. So I always had something to go to. So it wasn't like if it happened, I ran into the kitchen crying and just was there in the moment by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I only got to a crying point, I think, in the 14 years, maybe 5 times, where it just was so beyond hateful and mean. But in those times too, my people definitely will just say handled the scenario for me, which was amazing to show the united front that they were willing to take to for the scenario. I mean, it was a straight up, get out of our restaurant, we don't need your business, or they would take over the table, and it would just be, and not give the best of service on purpose because you think you're gonna do this to her. Well, guess what? Just because I'm 5'5" or 5'5", everything's gonna change. Guess what? You're gonna wish you had her.
Right.
Right. So really, I was very lucky that I never had to like really like deal with it for a stretch of a time during my shift. So no, I really never. The only thing it was be like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to go to work. Because at the time I was working school and there, so like some weekdays I would go literally from teaching all day until 4, and then my shift would start at 5. So that was the only thing. They'll be like, oh, I'm so tired. But it was never, oh my god, I hope I don't have a bad day today. No.
That's great. That's really great. Kristina, do you feel like you have had a support system that has really helped push you through, you know, the tough times and the jerks and all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. I have a really great family. Like, my parents are super supportive, my sisters, and I'm really lucky. My parents are divorced, but my mom has remarried, and my dad, my mom, and my stepdad all get along so incredibly well. And I think that is a huge help for not only me, but also my sisters and my nieces and nephews. But like that, I feel like speaks volumes. They have a good relationship, so then it helps everything else work out well, or help get through things with each other, because they all get along with each other, and it's just like one less thing to like have to worry about. Oh, if dad's here and mom and my stepdad come over, is it going to be awkward? And no, it's not like that. So there's been a lot of times where I would need more care. Like this, for example, this past winter, when I had a really bad dislocation of my elbow, my dad had to stay with me for 10 weeks.
Oh, I bet.
My mom come over every day to help out also, and it was never like, it wasn't weird having both of them here, you know. And my sister would come and also help out too. So like I have support like that, and just struggling with, even when I was even younger, trying to get into like being allowed to go to regular school, to be mainstream in the public school system. I wasn't in any special education classes, but the town that I grew up in didn't want me, some of the people didn't want me to be allowed to go to school with their kids because they might have thought I was contagious, thought I was a liability, this, that, or the other thing. But I've always had the support of my parents to like help advocate for me and fight for me. And I feel like I'm pretty damn lucky, because there's a lot of people that do not have the support that I have from my family, and I'm very, very fortunate.
I 100% agree. 100% agree.
Yeah, right? It's awesome. My family also, like, yeah, I have to be careful doing things, but they let me learn my limits, and let me try different things. And I had a fairly normal childhood and like normal high school experience. And I went to dances. I went to the mall with my girlfriends on the weekend. You know, this typical stuff. I wasn't held back from doing those things. And more people that I've come across meeting with OI from like different Facebook groups, I've learned how incredibly sheltered that some individuals have been, unfortunately, because either they didn't have the support from family or friend, or their families were so afraid of letting them do things that now these people in adulthood think that everything, or have the mindset that things should be presented to them on a plate. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they had the chance when they were younger to try to do stuff for themselves.
Right, and it's just straight up independence, you know?
Like,
they don't have that, and they don't have that drive.
Yes, you understand, like, you get that. I remember once I had fallen off my bicycle, like a tricycle. I was riding it really hard in the kitchen. Like, I took that corner around the island and I dumped my bike over. I ended up breaking my arm. And I said to my dad, I'm not ever riding my bike again. And the next morning he goes, okay, you got to get back on your bike. You have a cast on your arm. You're going to get on your bike. I can guarantee you, you're never going to tip this bike over. And I'm like, all right. My bike looked a little funny though. He had extended the back wheels out so far with like PVC piping. The bike was too heavy for me to pedal again, and I couldn't like fit it through the doorways. I never dumped my bike again, or like stuff like that. Like you get hurt, you get back out there and try it again.
Mm-hmm.
My parents would say, "Oh, she fell off her bike. We're never letting her get on one again." No, you'll get back on a bike and you're gonna figure it out. Just like that, and I feel like I'm really lucky that I had that little push from people. Like, you got hurt. That's part of what your daily life is, but you can't let it hold you back from living.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely true. 1000%.
And I think that's all because of the support that I had from my family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's awesome. But but you are also supportive of the family too. So it goes both ways, and and Samantha too. So it's beautiful. I love seeing it. It's really awesome. Okay, ladies. So we're getting close to wrapping up. So Samantha, Sammy, tell me what kind of like fact or piece of advocacy would you like people to know? If there was one thing that you could share, what would you like to share?
I think my biggest thing that I would want to share is just embrace change and diversity and be compassionate. Because you don't know what other people are going through, but at the same time, that does not mean that you can't be supportive or reach out or just be kind. Like pretty much boil that down to just be kind. I want you to believe in yourself and be kind to others.
Absolutely. It goes a very, very long way for sure. Ms. Kristina, what piece of information, advocacy, advice would you like to leave?
I would have to say try to find positive and good things in bad, painful situations. I truly believe having a positive mindset has gotten me this far in my life. I choose to be a happy person. I like making people happy and I like laughing. And I really feel like choosing that every day, choosing positivity is so important. And I really, really, really feel like that has gotten me very far in life. And I will always believe that.
Absolutely, 100% true, girlfriend.
Yep.
That's like one of the biggest things, for sure.
Yeah, and attitude of gratitude goes a long way, not only for yourself but for others. If you are able to truly tap into that gratitude mindset, then you see more gratitude than anything else, and then that translates to you being happier, and the energy that you put out is more loving and more caring. It's not always easy, and it doesn't mean that you can't have a pity party every now and then, or be upset or whatever. That we're not talking about toxic positivity here, but just really trying to push through and find the good, like Kristina said, is such an excellent piece of advice for sure.
We all have our days when we feel sad and overwhelmed, and that's normal. We're humans. Everybody feels that and should be allowed to feel those feelings. It helps you heal. But choosing to be happy and finding good in things is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, ladies, as we wrap up, Samantha, is there anything else that you want to chat about that we may have missed?
Not really. I think we covered it. Just support the book. Get the book when it comes out. It's going to be a life changer, game changer.
I agree with Sam. 100.
Excellent. So yes, our book will be publishing in September, and these ladies will have autographed copies available for purchase. So keep a lookout. Just keep an eye on them and the book and the progress. And you can hop over to the A Little Perspective Facebook page and learn more about the authors for this book, as well as for the parents book that is coming out, and we'll be posting a lot about that over the next couple of months there. Thank you, ladies, both for not only being here on this interview, but being a part of this project. You both mean so much to me personally, and your contribution is truly going to be a game changer. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Love you. You're so welcome.
All right, ladies, thank you again. Have a great night, and we will see everyone soon. Love y'all.
Love you
Love
too.
you guys. Bye, girls.
We take a picture.